Hello everyone and welcome back to my studio. Today I'm going to share with you not one, not two, but 5 ways of making seaglass jewelry. Seaglass is by far my favorite material to use in making jewelry, and I'm going to share with you some easier ways and some more advanced ways. So even if you don't have any experience making jewelry, then you can give those ones a try. We're going to go from the easiest to the hardest one, and I'm going to share with you the tools, the materials, and the process to make those pendants. Let's start with the glue-on bail, the easiest of the methods and perfect for beginners. For this pendant, you will need a piece of seaglass with a fairly flat back. Then you'll need a glue-on bail. Those come in different sizes and shapes. Here I'm using a small sterling silver one. You need some strong glue. I use E6000, a toothpick and a small piece of paper. You also need a piece of 400 to 600 grit sandpaper. First, rub the back of your seaglass piece with your sandpaper. This will make the surface slightly rougher to facilitate the adhesion of the glue. Then drop a dollop of glue on the piece of paper and mix it with your toothpick till it becomes stringy. You might not need to do this with all glues, but it is recommended for the E6000 glue. Then apply a thin layer of glue on the bail and leave it to rest for at least 20 seconds. Now you can position the seaglass how you like it by making sure that the flat back is the one adhering to the bail. Once happy with the pendant, press on the seaglass for about 20 seconds and leave to dry for 48 hours. If you're worried that the seaglass will move around, you can wrap the pendant with some painter's tape during the drying period. Once dry, slide the pendant on a chain and voila, the first necklace is ready. Pinch bails come in a variety of sizes and shapes, which makes them perfect to use with seaglass jewelry. You can use most kinds of seaglass shapes for this project. Just remember that the thicker the seaglass, the harder it will be to drill. Here I selected both a thin and a thick piece to show you both results. I'm using sterling silver pinch bails in 2 sizes to fit the seaglass. You will need a rotary tool. Here I'm using a cheap one from Lidl, but you can use any you have available. You will also need diamond drilling bits. Those are crucial. You really can't drill seaglass without them. I like to use 1mm flat tip diamond bits. You can also use conical ones with a pointy end, but I find them much harder to use. You also need a small container with some water and a piece of wood where to lay your seaglass. Start by marking where you will want your hole to be. The hole should be at least 1 cm from the top edge to avoid the glass cracking. Make sure you check that the pinch bail will be able to fit the drilled hole. Immerse your seaglass piece under water. Water is vital for the drilling process. Without it, you will ruin your diamond bits and drill nothing. Make sure to be careful here not to let the main body of the rotary tool touch the water. Only the drill bit should be submerged. Start drilling on a slight angle. Once you feel the bit bite into the glass, straighten the rotary tool. I like to use my drill at a speed just slightly below the fastest setting. Do not apply too much pressure or the glass will break. Stop and turn the seaglass to see if you can see a little dot where the light passes through. If you do, you can start drilling on the other side by using the dot as a reference. Keep switching sides until you meet at the middle. If you don't start drilling on both sides, it's very likely you will crack the glass. Don't worry, it's absolutely normal for the glass to sometimes crack. It happens even to the most experienced drillers, so make sure that you practice beforehand on a few scraps of seaglass. Once you join the hole in the middle, you can dry the piece of seaglass and mount it on the pinch bail. Gently tighten the bail with some nylon pliers or by placing a piece of fabric in between the bail and the pliers to avoid leaving marks on the metal. Aren't they so pretty? Now add a chain and you're done with pendant number 2. Peg bails are mounted on top, so they're great to use on seaglass where you don't want to disrupt the pattern, like on this multicolored CM seaglass. They're best used on pieces that are more than half a centimeter thick. Other than the peg bails, you will also need your trusted rotary tool with diamond drill bits, your container with water and your glue. Start by marking with a pencil where you want your peg bail to be mounted. Drill following the directions from the previous pendant and stop frequently to check if the peg bail fits or if you need to drill more. Once you're happy with the depth, dry the seaglass, making sure to remove any moisture from the hole. Prepare the glue and apply a small amount on the peg. Fit the peg into the hole and leave it to dry for 48 hours. Add a chain and there you go, pendant number 3 is finished. For this pendant, you will create a groove on the side of the seaglass. For this method, you will need a piece that is thick and rounded. You will need your rotary tool with a diamond cutting disc like this one. You also need some wire. Here I'm using sterling silver 0.7mm or 21 gauge soft wire, and a round and a flat nose pliers and some snippers. We won't use any water for this method, so I recommend wearing a mask to avoid inhaling the glass dust. Mark where your groove will be, trying to be as central as possible. Start cutting your groove by firmly holding your piece of seaglass and applying a small amount of pressure. Move the seaglass away from you anti-clockwise to continue your groove. Try to make the groove as continuous and consistent in depth as possible. This will take a bit of practice. Once happy with the groove, wrap your wire around the seaglass, making it fit tightly on the gap. Leave at least 5 cm of wire on both ends and then cut the excess. Now pinch and twist the wire at the top of the seaglass with your hands first, then repeat it with your flat nose pliers. The goal here is to twist the wire as close as possible to the seaglass to make sure it's very secure and that the glass doesn't move around. Now make a loop using your round pliers with both wires going in the same direction. Then start wrapping the wire around the loop. The shorter your ends, the harder this will be. Snap away the extra wire and squeeze the ends in with your flat nose pliers. Round your loop with your round nose pliers if necessary. Pendant number 4 is ready. This is definitely an intermediate method, so don't be discouraged if it takes a few times to get the result you want. Last but not least is the wrapping method. I think this one is the hardest one because you will already need to know how to wrap a briolette and because seaglass is often uneven, making it harder to wrap, but it will be worth the effort. The choice of seaglass is really important here. It needs to be naturally pear-shaped and with straight edges. Uneven or a different shaped seaglass will make it hard, if not impossible, for you to wrap it. Mark your hole and drill as usual. I'm using a 0.4 or 26 gauge soft sterling silver wire. Fit the wire through the hole, make a loop with your round nose pliers and start wrapping. I only noticed whilst editing that the footage was out of focus, so unfortunately I'm not able to show you all the steps of the briolette making, but if you'd like to learn, I'll link a few videos on the description box. Once you're done with the wrapping, snip the excess wire and press the ends in with the flat nose pliers. Despite it being challenging, this is definitely my favorite method. Which one is yours? So here you go, 5 ways of making seaglass jewelry. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. If you have any questions, then you can leave them in the comments down below. And as usual, any tools and any materials that I used in the video, I'm gonna have a link in the description bar. See you very soon!